Organisers set BSP Stadium for spectacular opening tonight. Hundreds push for chance to witness games opening. And PNG Table Tennis victorious over Palau.
This is National EMTV News with Neville Troy.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on the opening night of the 2015 Pacific Games. Before that, here is Saturday's news. The BSP Stadium is looking magnificent as organizers and participants prepare to dazzle the Pacific with what promises to be the most spectacular Games opening ceremony that the region has ever seen. Sasha Selovo was in the stadium this morning.
The countdown has now begun to the opening ceremony of the region's biggest sporting event, the 2015 Pacific Games. Final preparations are now underway at the BSP Sir John Guy Stadium as Papua New Guinea gears up to officially welcome our visitors to our diverse nation.
Papua New Guinea's cultural diversity is at the soul of the production of the opening ceremony. With very little disclosed to the public about the event, it is expected that the ceremony will be one that the nation and region will never forget. Staff of Makota Productions, the official producer of the opening ceremony, were busy all afternoon carrying out final technical checks, with participants moving into the venue ready for the evening.
Here, I have to stand up there, up the top, and play guitar. It's a real honor to be up there, representing my region.
Security will be tight, with all gates leading to the BSP Stadium manned by security and police personnel that have come from all over Papua New Guinea for the Games operations.
Make sure that within the stadium itself must be trouble-free.
You know, some people are working because people like money. People are working because people have much so people are Papua New Guineans.
The spirit of patriotism is well and truly alive, and this evening's ceremony is sure to not only captivate the nation and all participating countries, but will be embedded into the hearts and minds of all Papua New Guineans and go down in history as one of the most remarkable events hosted by our nation. Sasha Pesilovo, National EMTV News.
Various venues are all prepped and busy with their own schedules to ensure tonight's opening ceremony is captured and delivered to expectation. At the International Broadcasting Center, or IBC, at the Laguna Hotel in Port Moresby, technical crews are working to ensure live feeds for the opening ceremony are received smoothly.
The Sir John Guy Stadium will be the epicenter for the opening of the 15th Pacific Games, while all attention will be focused on it. Tucked away in a little corner at the Laguna Hotel in Port Moresby is the International Broadcasting Center, or IBC. This is where all live feeds from all Games venues are received.
These feeds stream out of our system and they're available to all the editors to make highlights.
Tonight, IBC's attention will shift from the Games to the opening ceremony to ensure viewers throughout the Pacific watch it live on their respective television stations. Lead broadcaster of the Pacific Games, EMTV, is also in full swing at IBC to capture this moment.
That people watch their channel and watch their favorite sport on the television while it is, on.
For those in PNG, the opening can be watched live and exclusive on EMTV at 6:30 tonight. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
Well, it's day 3 of His Royal Highness the Duke of York's visit to Papua New Guinea. This morning, Prince Andrew visited the Coronation Park in downtown Port Moresby, the Games Village at Waigani, and the Adventure Park at 14 Mile. He was well received at all 3 venues.
His Royal Highness the Duke of York's visit to the Games Village was not only a spectacular moment, but also a uniting one for all Pacific athletes. He was escorted around the village with the company of Sports Minister Justin Chachenko, where he allowed time for a few handshakes and gave athletes an opportunity to take pictures of him. After receiving the 2015 Games baton, the Duke of York gave an official speech on how sports play a uniting role for people all over the world, and on this occasion, the Port Moresby Pacific Games.
This baton, as it has been around the country, is a symbol of calling to action.
Prince Andrew then concluded the 100 days journey of the Pacific Games baton relay across Papua New Guinea and officially commissioned the Games village. The Duke of York then travelled up to Adventure Park at 14 Mile, where he met, shook hands and chatted with the recipient of the Young Queen's Leaders Award winner, John Tucker, for the second time. It was a proud moment for Tucker, as he recalled the Prince was present when he received this award from Buckingham Palace in England.
And finally I met the Queen and I shook hands with her.
The Prince delivered a speech on the importance of having life qualities and being an agent of change.
Leadership requires personal qualities.
The Duke of York will officiate the opening of the Pacific Games this evening. Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
In the news ahead, Pacific Games fever is catching on in the provinces, with hundreds queuing up to catch a flight to Port Moresby. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Hundreds of people are still queuing up in terminals to catch a flight to Port Moresby for the Pacific Games opening ceremony. In Mount Hagen, passengers on waiting lists are still pushing and hoping for an available seat.
This was the scene inside Kagamuga Terminal yesterday. Passengers are queuing up, desperate not to miss a flight to Port Moresby towards the opening ceremony of the region's biggest sporting event. Airline tickets to Port Moresby were all sold out. Those on waiting list cannot stand any longer. They sat inside the terminal with their cargoes, hoping to be accepted on the next Air Niugini flight.
Looking game tomorrow. Opening belong. That's a system done and a big problem now.
Some are first-time visitors to Port Moresby. For this Jiwaka mother, Port Moresby is strange to her. She came to Port Moresby to see her daughter, PNG sprint queen Toya Whistle, who will be participating in the event. A stranger to Port Moresby, but no stranger to seeing her daughter win medals. She will be cheering for Toya to win gold in these games.
First time.
With the opening ceremony of the 2015 Games kicking off tonight, it will be a memorable moment for those who are lucky enough to attend this event. Quintan Along, National EMTV News.
The 2015 Pacific Games will witness a spectacular event which is just hours away. The event is said to be decorated with colors representing the country's 22 different provinces. EMTV caught up with the organizer of the Goroka Cultural Group on their preparations for the opening ceremony and their thoughts on the event.
The Goroka people are here from the Eastern Highlands province rehearsing and preparing for one of the biggest events that will be happening in just a few hours. Now, these people will take part with the other 21 provinces from the country during the opening ceremony. In approximately 2 hours, 22 cultural groups will be performing not just under the watchful eyes of their fellow citizens, but also around the Pacific, if not the world. Danny Sinako, organizer for the Goroka Cultural Group, described his dancers' participation in the opening ceremony to be an event that will always be part of them.
Big plan mamas lo kam so passing to muna blom plan culture blom plalo inside port nation's capital na anda blom ene mo se mi bla representing province blom plana mi bla working best blom mi bla onem role blom plalo play now lo opening em bla make sure se mo big line mi bla kam bla promo right o se.
It is groups like these that will make our country proud and visitors impressed, showing the many different colors and traditions that Papua New Guinea is known for. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
In other news, a vocal advocate for the West Papua cause describes the recent granting of observer status to the United Liberation Movement for West Papua and the associate membership of Indonesia into the Melanesian Spearhead Group as a win-win situation. Speaking to EMTV recently, Northern Governor Gary Juffa says now the Melanesian leaders can hold Indonesia to account as a regional group for the human rights abuse that is occurring in Indonesia's Papua provinces.
We now have members of all of the actors involved on the same table. We can start discussing a way forward. 2, the Union for Free West Papua is now recognized by a regional body. Therefore, they can take this matter to the United Nations and the world at large and review what happened in 1969, the Act of No Choice. 3, the MSG and its chair can now demand from Indonesia what is happening across the border when there are atrocities committed. For instance, just 2 weeks ago, they killed a student and shot 5. It received absolutely zero attention.
A 25-year-old man's 10-year wait to open a bank account is finally over. Fidelis Sauping is a person living with disability in the Sak Valley of Wapenamanda in the Enga province. Fidelis was among hundreds of people who opened a bank account at Sak Valley High School on Thursday.
Fidelis Sauping is among thousands of people in rural PNG who have yet to open a bank account. For 10 years, he has been thinking of opening an account with Bank South Pacific. The 25-year-old grade 9 student from Sak Valley High School was excited when BSP visited his school last week. Earlier this year, he traveled to Wabek to open an account, but all his attempts have failed. On Thursday, during the graduation of Financial Education Expansion Program, a microfinance initiative supported by Bank of PNG, he was among many who finally opened a personal account. Central Bank Deputy Governor Benny Popotai said many people in rural areas are not part of the formal banking system.
Rest of the country population must participate in the process long making economic activity come up strong in country. Yeah.
Quinten Alomp, National EMTV News.
You're with National EMTV News. Trukai Sports is next. We'll bring you Team PNG's victories in table tennis, touch rugby and basketball. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. PNG has won its first match in table tennis. Papua New Guinea was hoping for a win after losing to New Caledonia yesterday. The young PNG team claimed victory against an older and experienced Palau team.
Teams arrived at the gymnasium in time to kick off their matches. New Caledonia took on Fiji in the women's division, while in the men's, Vanuatu played Fiji and PNG went up against Palau. Supporters from each country came to cheer on their athletes taking part. PNG's first match for the day was between Gasika Sepa and Samuel Saunders. Sepa displayed an impressive performance, beating Saunders 3-0. Young Jeffrey Loy, also striking with the paddle, showed a small number of PNG supporters that he was not going to disappoint. Coach Ray Loy was pleased with the team's performance even after suffering from a loss yesterday against New Caledonia.
Yesterday's experience and our boys did their best, very best, put up the very best effort today, and they did win most of the matches. It resulted in defeating the Palau 8 points to 1.
The table tennis competition will end on Monday. New Caledonia is currently leading the table tennis ladder. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
In round 2 of the Open men's and women's touch rugby matches today, PNG kept up their winning streak. PNG locked Samoa to an 18-0 defeat in their first match. Diane Vetu opened the scoreline before Vavine Yore and Patioko Bernard picked up a touchdown each. It was a close encounter in the second match against Cook Islands. PNG sent Nadia Taubuso, Diane Vetu, Jenny Carroll and Joylyn Tickott over the line. PNG defeating Cook Islands 6 points to 2. In the Open Men's Division, PNG thrashed Solomon Islands 19 points to 1 today and will take on Samoa tomorrow. In men's basketball, last night's match between PNG and reigning Pacific champions New Caledonia ended with a close 3 points difference, 74 to 77. In today's match, our men rebounded to thrash American Samoa 90 points to 64, while New Caledonia lost to Fiji 79 to 58. And Trukai Sports ends here. All your weather details up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
And the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Southern region, all centers, cloudy periods. In the Momasa region, all centers fine except Lae, which is mostly fine. In the New Guinea Islands, Lorengau, Keve and Kimbe fine, Rabaul, Kokopo mostly fine, and a few showers in Buka. And lastly, in the Highlands region, all centers fine, then morning fog. That's been the news, sports and weather. Before we go, a reminder on the change of time in our nightly news bulletin over the next 2 weeks. Starting tomorrow, news will be on at 5:30 p.m. But up next is EMTV's exclusive coverage on the opening of the Pacific Games. Don't miss it. Good night.